Has been usurped. We are the people who make up this country. We are the consumers and the taxpayers. Ladies and gentlemen, the leader of the opposition, Mr. Tony Abbott. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say congratulations to all of you for coming out today and letting the Government of Australia know that the people of Australia can never be taken for granted. As I look out on this crowd of fine Australians, I want to say that I do not see scientific heretics. I do not see environmental vandals. I see people who want honest government. The Prime Minister, 6 days before the election, stood up before the Australian people and she said, there will be no carbon tax under the government I lead. And she said that. She said that because she knew that was the only way to stave off defeat. Does anyone think for a second that the Prime Minister would be in the lodge if 6 days before the election she had said, yes, there will be a carbon tax? Because the struggling families of Australia are doing it tough enough. They're doing it tough enough with all the increased prices, with all the increased government charges. What they don't need is an unnecessary new tax that will make a tough life harder. Now, I say to you, in all honesty, there are a lot of diverse opinions about climate change. And I don't think this is about climate change. Climate change happens. Mankind does make a contribution. It's important to have an intelligent response, not a stupid one. An intelligent response to climate change means more trees, better soils, and smarter technology. It doesn't mean a great big new tax that just for starters will drive your power bill up by $300 a year. It will put 6.5 cents a litre on the cost of filling up your car. It will put $6,240 on the price of a new home, and that is just for starters. It won't just damage your standard of living. It will damage jobs. In fact, this is Australia's new export under the carbon tax. It's your jobs. There are 126,000 jobs that will go in regional Australia. There's 10,000 jobs that will go in the coal industry alone, and 16 big mines will close. There's 24,000 jobs that will go in the mining industry more generally. There's 45,000 jobs that will go in the energy-intensive sector. And as the boss of BlueScope Steel has made clear again and again, this is a tax from a government which doesn't want us to make things anymore in this country. It is economic vandalism. It is life and death for the steel industry, for the aluminium industry, for the cement industry, for the mining industry. And if this tax come in, does anyone think for a second that we will use less steel, that we will turn our air conditioners on less, that we will stop driving our cars? No. It means that the steel and the aluminium and the cement will be imported, and those jobs will be exported, and that's the last thing that any Australian should want, and that any Australian government should promote through unnecessary and wrong-headed policy change. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you are going to hear a lot of misinformation in the course of this carbon tax fight. One of the pieces of misinformation that you will hear is that this is just a tax on big emitters. Wrong. This is a tax on every single Australian. It's a tax on you. The next thing you will hear is that you will be compensated. Well, let me say this. A tax cut to compensate for a tax hike is not a cut, it's a con. And the Australian public are not mugs. We know what's really happening. We will not be conned. And any government which puts a $2,000 a year tax on the average household and then says, please be grateful with $300 or $400 or $1,000 back in your pocket, that is not tax reform, that is a tax mirage. Ladies and gentlemen, I was delighted to hear the Prime Minister say the other day that she had learned a lot from scripture lessons. Thou shalt not bear false witness. And I say in conclusion, even Prime Ministers are entitled to change their mind. But a Prime Minister is not entitled to change her mind on something as important as this without going back to the people and seeking a new... If the argument is as strong as she says, trust the people to know the truth. Go back and have a vote, and we will accept the outcome. Thanks very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for coming. Democracy is at the heart of our country, and democracy means giving everyone the chance to be heard with respect. I am so pleased to have had the chance to meet with some of you, to talk to all of you. I wish the Prime Minister was here. I think she might learn something. I wish the union leaders who workers in the manufacturing industry of our country were here. They might learn something, but I am so pleased and thrilled to have so many of my colleagues here. Thank you so much to my colleagues. Led by Truss. I so thank and appreciate the support of my colleagues. We've got Erica Betts, the Leader of the Opposition in the Senate. And I also want to say thank you to Chris Smith and 2GB. You know, it's easy to be critical of our media, and I've got to say, sometimes I am critical of our media. But the great thing about a free media in a free democracy is that it gives the ordinary people of our country a voice. Thank you, Chris, for the voice you have given to the people of this country. Thank you, Tony. Ladies and gentlemen, could I just say from this side of the stage, you look fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I've gone so far out of your way. So many people have slept in cars overnight. We've heard from them. It's been extraordinary. Slept in cars overnight to make sure that they were part of history and putting their hands up
and making sure that we don't have a carbon dioxide tax introduced in between two elections. It is unreal that they say that we should put up with that. I say no carbon dioxide tax. Can I congratulate the Consumers and Taxpayers Association, who are not funded, who started from a very small handful of members and have devised this little rally with phone calls, with emails, passing word from point A to point B, and look what they've come up with. What a great result, about 3,000 plus. You are fantastic. Can I make the point that one Labor MP outside doors in Parliament House earlier today said that you are extremists? I think that Labor MP should come down, get off his bum, come down and have a talk to the people who are here. Families, mums, dads. And you know what? The big difference between this and every other rally on this subject, you people have life experience. You understand when we're heading for a runaway train and we ain't coming back. Can I make mention of the fact as well that you are not representing the minority? Today's 9MSN poll, conducted from 7 o'clock this morning, on whether you wanted a carbon dioxide tax, is voting and are taking votes right now. Thousands have logged on to vote. You are representing the 84% of I cannot believe the deception and lies, and Tony Abbott mentioned that. We were once told that an emissions trading scheme was the way to go. Then we were told, no, Kevin Rudd, you can't have an emissions trading scheme, but I'll take your job. Then we were told we won't have a carbon dioxide tax under the government I lead. Then we were told we are going to have a carbon dioxide tax under the government I lead. Do you trust any government that can't put peat bats in your roof? No! One quick thing, there are speakers with a lot more knowledge than myself to talk to you and discuss these issues. But can I say one thing? This is a grassroots movement of average, everyday Australians that without doubt represents the majority. If they are so convicted about a carbon dioxide tax, firstly give us the details and then have the guts and the courage to go to an election. Yes! Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. Thank you for being part of history.
Thanks very much, Chris. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker, Truss, leader of the National Party, comes from up north in Queensland there. He's come down here to speak to us today. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Truss. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Chris. I and my colleagues are going to have to go up into that building in a couple of minutes for a vote, and so we're going to have to leave you. But in a few months, something quite remarkable is going to happen up there. Our government is proposing to introduce a new tax that's going to change the climate of the world. A new tax on Australians that's supposed to make a difference to our sea levels and to our temperature. A tax that Australians will pay, but no one else in the rest of the world. A tax that would destroy Australian jobs, that will destroy and put up the cost of your living. As Tony said, the government wants you to believe that this is a tax that's only going to be paid by evil polluters. Well, let me tell you who those evil polluters are. Us, they're us. But they're the people who generate our electricity. Yeah! They're the people who manufacture our steel and our goods that we use. They're the people who process our food. They're the people who earn our export income. They're the people who create our jobs. These are the evil polluters that the government says it's going to tax. But we all know that those people will either pass those costs on to us directly, or they're going to leave the country. They're going to go somewhere where they don't have to pay this tax. And that's going to have the effect of damaging our economy, and the only people who will win are those in other parts of the world who don't pay this tax. So this tax is going to cost us jobs, but on top of that, it'll do nothing for the environment. there'll be just as much CO2 emissions. I don't think it was a new tax that created the last ice age. I don't think it is a new tax that brought on the biblical deluge. I don't think it is a new tax that created the Sahara Desert. But Julia would have us believe that her new tax is going to fill the Murray, it's going to lower the sea levels, and we'll all live happily ever after. Where's the science? Where's the economics? For this tax to work, it's got to hurt, and hurt really hard, because she wants you to turn off your air conditioner when you're on a hot day. She wants you to not drive your car to visit your sick mother. She wants you to change your behaviour. And so it's got to really, really hurt to make that happen. But she won't hurt. She's got more money. She's got more income. More money for compensation. More money for green programs. More for pink bats. More for solar panel debacles. More for green load scheme. That will do nothing for our country. We'll fight this tax. It's not for us. We'll oppose it. We're going up there to divide and vote against the government now. It will be a really important vote against the government. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I'll see you later, neighbour. I'll go away. We certainly are, Tony. Okay, I had some housekeeping that I needed to do. Would you show our appreciation for some men who have a very important task ahead of them, representing us, not only in opposition but in foreseeable future in government? Can we let them know how we feel about them? Like I said before, I'm not a name dropper, but Tony and I know this. Don't always see eye to eye, but on the budgie smuggler thing we do. Do I mention that? No one's getting me in any except my smugglers, let me tell you. Give it a no right now.
Can I just ask a question?
You can ask any question, as long as it doesn't involve...